Hello, I'm Aric, and I am sitting here with the Executive Director with the Goal Foundation, Mr. Aric Bauman. Aric, it's awesome to have you here.
Awesome to be here. Thanks,
Nice.
Aric.
And so we have a long history together. I'm Aric with an A, and that's just Aric.
With an E.
With an E.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of fun. We kind of started our roles about the exact same time. So we've been pretty confusing for the town, I think, a little bit, which is always fun. So if you ever say Aric and we're in the same room, you will definitely get a response, right?
That's right.
So Aric, you're the executive director with such a fantastic organization. But where did you come from before you took on this role? What's a little bit of your background?
Well, I came from the city, from Ogden City, and previously was the deputy chief over the medical operations of the fire department for the city. And I served with the city for 25 years, and I got introduced to Goal through the marathon and through providing medical services for the marathon and some other events. And then eventually was a member of the events team here, and so that's how I got introduced to Goal.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then lo and behold, Jenny Scothern, the previous executive director, she was looking to move to try some new things, and here comes Aric Bauman.
Yeah, and it's just been an honor, and it's such a great organization. It's had such a legacy from the beginning, and how it's been built, and all of the people that put in the hard work along the way. And Jenny just did a fantastic job with running the organization for so long, and so feel really fortunate and lucky to be here.
So let's talk about that a little bit. You come on to an organization that is huge in the community. I mean, I can't stress what Goal does for this community. So you come on, there's no pressure there, right, to step in and fill that role. And literally within 6 months, the world literally turns upside down. When all that was coming around, I mean, you're getting your feet wet, you're getting into stuff, you're starting your winter racing circuit for your first time, then everything happens. What was going through your mind in a situation like that? I mean, being kind of the executive director for an organization the community looks to, and then this happens. I mean, what was going through your mind at that time?
Well, we've got a great team, and we were all going through it together and trying to figure it out as it was coming, and I'm just proud of the team that we were able to pivot and just deal with things as it came. You know, I don't think nobody has ever seen anybody or anything like this, and nobody's been through the year that everybody's been through now. So. It was challenging, but at the same time, I think there's a lot of positives that came out of it for us, and a lot of best practices that we learned that we'll take with us even post-COVID.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think it's interesting though, because like I said, Goal is such a pillar in this community, and there is no book on Barnes & Noble or Amazon to figure out how do I handle times during a pandemic, right?
Yeah.
So you do have to rely on your team. And it really is where you've got a community looking directly at you. Okay, what are you guys going to do? How are you going to help us through this? How are you going to lead us through this? And from sitting on the outside, looking in, I think you guys did an amazing job. The decisions that had to be made, as far as virtual to canceling to moving forward in such a big year, because what people don't realize maybe is that was a 20th year, right? I mean, you just have a big year coming up. And then what do you do? So I think what you guys have done is nothing short of spectacular. You haven't missed a beat. You've been there for the community. You've been very upfront with everybody on the decisions and why they were being made. But behind the scenes a little bit, what kind of pressure did you feel, you and your team, to kind of lead by example?
Yeah. Well, there's tremendous pressure to try to make the right decisions, when I go back to, we just could not have done it without the support from our board, from our partners, from the city, from all of our stakeholders. But at the core of the decision making was always about the safety of everybody involved. And when we talk about marathon, we're talking about 20,000 people. And doing it safe. How can we execute it in a way that eliminates or reduces the risk? And so that was the core, the decision making on everything we did, whether it was postponement eventually cancellation, and aside from the marathon, at some of our other events as well. And so we're thrilled to be in a much more optimistic, positive place right now, to where we're starting to produce small events again, and that we were able to pivot to a virtual format and still keep the spirit of the Ogden Marathon alive. We felt strongly about that we, even though we couldn't get everybody together, we wanted to do something, and we wanted to make it special, and we wanted to keep our athletes engaged and our community engaged. And I think this different format, although it is completely different than what we've done before, is going to accomplish that.
Well, and I've been fortunate enough to be around to see, how you guys have kicked off your winter racing circuit this year. And again, a lot of changes, a lot of decisions. There's so much that happens behind the scenes that people don't necessarily understand. Sometimes it's for them, it's just like a question, but they don't understand the hours and the time went in just to answer one question.
Right.
The winter racing circuit, I think, has been absolutely phenomenal. I don't think you guys could have done it any better. And the response from the community has been so amazing. Like, people are so excited to be together,
Yeah.
right? But you're also providing them the confidence that it's done properly, right?
Well, that was really important to us, because as we went into looking at producing again, we were committed to doing it safely.
Yeah.
And that involved having a very robust, comprehensive COVID plan. And we've learned a lot. And each race, I think we've gotten better and better at it. But it's important for all of our athletes and everybody involved to have confidence, and for us to be able to do it in a way to show that we can produce safe events. So, yeah, we're thrilled with how it's gone. The best thing about it is we're seeing smiles on faces. We're seeing people out running together. And that's the biggest reward, I think, for our entire team, is just to see the joy that these events bring people. And that's really what we're here for. You talked about earlier, so much of what we're known for, or have been known for, is the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it goes back to creating value to me. And it's how do we create value in the community? And this year has been an example. If we can't put large groups together, how do we do that? And that's where the support from our teammate members, our board, our partners, we've been able to continue to create value with the support of everybody involved.
Well, as I've done a few of these interviews and talked to people sitting in your chair, one of the things I keep coming back to is how special the Ogden Marathon will be this year. So it's virtual, obviously. It's different, but I think you're adding components that just don't look like a virtual race. You've got your virtual expo that looks amazing, and I'm super excited to see how that turns out. Your medals, the things you're providing your runners, looks incredible. I mean, I think you guys have taken it up a notch to truly show that, hey, we may be virtual, but we're here to give you value. We're here to put on a great race. And at the end of the day, too, you're here to support community. You guys have done a great job of giving your message and keeping people engaged, because we've all seen this last year. It's been a struggle, not just for the pandemic, but how do we handle our lives in the pandemic? Right. And now what you're doing is you're adding that little extra, right, to something that a lot of places aren't providing.
Yeah, well, and when we decided we were going to do it, we all agreed we call it goalifying it.
That may have been used once or twice.
Yep. And we were going to do it at the level we do do everything else, and so we were committed to that. So there's been I don't know how many thousands of hours of brainstorming and idea generation with our team about how do we make it special? How do we go above and beyond? And it's been a neat process to watch, but it's fun too now to be starting to look at the end product. And when we look at that box, that it's a ground up event. We've built it from the ground up, and we look at the box, we look at the shirt, we look at the medal, we look at the app that we're having developed, we're looking at the customized bibs and everything coming together. It's pretty neat to see just the customized feel of it, and we're proud of the experience that we are going to be giving our athletes.
Well, and I think you say it, with everything you're bringing together, as much as goal as leading the charge, having the support, right? From your partners,
Yeah.
from, different organizations, from volunteers, from the city, from whoever. I mean, I think everybody understands not only that this is a world-class premier event, but I think everybody else understands it is so needed right now. From the winter racing circuit to the culmination of the marathon, however it's done, I think everybody knows this is something that this community hangs their hat on at the end of the day. So I think people look to you. I think they look to your team and look to the big GOAL. I hope I spelled that right. To see what's happening in our community. And I love that you have such great communication with all your stuff. You've got your El Dulce shirt on. You've got the kids stuff going on, the kids camps.
Yeah,
there's just so much, and you're just full steam ahead, really.
Well, yeah, and it's the communication has been the biggest piece of it for us. We want to make sure that we're translating our message of what we're doing, and this year's been challenging because that changed.
Yeah,
there were a lot of things that changed on a daily and weekly and monthly basis, but we were committed to communicating with all of our stakeholders and keeping everybody involved, and it's two-way, and we've gotten great feedback from our community as well, and which has guided a lot of what we've done. So, but yeah, we're excited. We're excited to put on a week-long experience that can get people active and get people out in the community, keeping the spirit alive in a different format.
So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
2021, virtual. How will you measure this to be successful? In your eyes, in your head right now, to have this thing come off and say, that was a success, what does that look like?
Yeah, a lot of it is, we look at registration numbers. This morning we broke the 2,500 registered number, and so we're looking at amount of people registered. We're looking at feedback. We have an online community. We're getting a lot of communication and feedback through our online community, which is positive. What we'll be doing after is surveying runners and seeing how we did, and so we'll be just doing a lot of listening.
Nice. I think that's important. I'm the positive guy.
Okay.
I love to think of best case scenarios. So in my mind right now, I'm thinking of 2022. I'm looking at the Ogden Marathon, and I can't help but think how incredible that is going to be. Knowing what you and your organization do, knowing that it's been a couple of years at that point from a live show.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be massive.
I do too, and we're really excited about it because we feel like we'll be in a great position to put on a live event. We missed our 20-year in terms of a live event.
Yeah.
We're still doing 20 years. We're still celebrating 20 years, but it's different.
Yeah.
It's a different format, and I think our community, our athletes, everybody is ready, and we'll be ready to really celebrate together. As are we. We can't wait to put on a live marathon. So.
Okay, chomping at the bit.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have to pivot and go back to live, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Aric, I really appreciate you sitting down with me, telling everybody out there, give a little backstory of who you are, as well as just all the behind-the-scenes stuff that maybe everybody, may not be aware of, but also what they can look forward to and get a kind of peek behind the curtain, if you will. So it's been awesome to talk to you. It's been great to have you in this role, a big part of the community, obviously, and what you and your team have been able to do in such a challenging time is nothing short of exceptional. So I hope you take that and pat yourself on the back as well as your team, and we're all looking forward to the day we can hug at a finish line and celebrate everything that you guys do for this community.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that the kind words and the feedback, and I just couldn't be more proud of our team and our city, our community, our team members, and so it's an honor. So thanks for sitting down with me.
All right, well, thanks, and we'll see you in 2022.